All right, so we've seen the if function and even tried our hands on nested formulas or functions. Now, that's what nesting means, right? Like you put a function inside a function, or you could have as many functions inside each other, depending on the use case. So this is how functions become a bit complex through nesting, and it's not difficult. It's only difficult in the eyes, but when you are building, you understand the logic. So let's look at something else here. Let's look at the minimum here. All right. So I would just create this, say this is minimum. Well, direct minimum. Okay. Then I would use my main function and just select from this range C5 to F5, and I do that. Now I will drag this down and I have my minimum. The reason why I'm trying to bring out the minimum is to go further in dissecting the logic behind the bonus. Because the bonus says that the person must have met the goal, the weekly goal, in all the weeks. That means there is no week that should be lower than the weekly goal. Meaning that if I tried using my minimum function or my min function, I would be able to just know that there is no week in this particular person's transactions that went below 8750, since this is the lowest amount the person would have made in all the weeks. The same thing here. This is the lowest amount, and that means this person is not going to get a bonus. This same person, this other person got 7,980 as the minimum transaction the person made across the weeks. So that means this person is not going to miss the target. So with this, I could simply say that I could use my if function, right? And I would put in my and. But let's start with the and so it's not going to be confusing for you. So since we are going to do multiple conditions, but in this case, you see the multiple conditions are going to be fewer, and this is what I mean. It's going to just be if this is greater than or equal to the weekly goal, all right? That's if the minimum is greater than or equal to the weekly goal, and if meeting the goal is equal to yes, then put this in the if statements that checks if that result is going to be true, then it should say bonus. And if it's not going to be true, it should say no bonus. Now let's do this. And if you see this, wow, this is awesome. Click on it and you see that you just have this written there. Compared to what we have here, which is already chaotic in the eyes, like really complex. All right. Now, the whole idea of a good developer is not in how complex things can be, but in the best way the person can simplify things. All right. So this function makes it easier to the eyes and is more concise, you know, because I created a derived column. Now, let's assume that you might not have the opportunity to create maybe this column, or it could be, but what can we do here? We can just bring in this formula here. So instead of saying if H5, which is the minimum, equals this, I could just write the function here, which is the minimum or mean of C5 to uh, D or F5 to F5. And I do this, I get the same thing. So I just replace this H5, right, with the function that's generated that value, and which is the mean. So you see, I have my if function I have my AND function, I have my main function in one function. So this is another level of nesting. So you could continue nesting like that. But when we see it, it's the same result. And now I can just delete this and it's not going to be affected. All right. So you could try this, see smarter ways you could achieve the same thing. Okay. The whole idea or the foundation of everything is the logic you're going to build. All right. So hope you enjoyed this and see you in the next.